Have you ever noticed that two people can face the exact same situation and walk away believing completely different things happened? One says, "Nothing ever works out for me." The other says, "Something good is coming from this." The circumstances may have been identical, yet their experience begins to separate the moment they decide what the situation means. Most people believe reality gives meaning to their lives. Neville Goddard taught the opposite. He explained that the meaning you consistently assign to life becomes the blueprint from which life begins to organize itself. That is why two people can receive the same silence after sending a message. One immediately assumes rejection. They replay the conversation in their mind. They search for mistakes. They begin preparing themselves for disappointment before anything has actually happened. The other person pauses for only a moment. Then they naturally assume everything is unfolding as it should. They continue with their day. Their emotional state remains steady because they have not surrendered their inner world to appearances. Outwardly, nothing has changed. Inwardly, everything has. This is where creation quietly begins. We often think our biggest decisions shape our future. Choosing a career, moving to a new city, starting a relationship. Those moments matter, but there is something happening every single day that has even greater influence. It is the silent interpretation you give to ordinary events. A delayed opportunity, a conversation that did not go as expected, an unexpected expense, a compliment, a criticism. Each one invites you to decide who you believe yourself to be. If you assume life is constantly testing you, every inconvenience becomes another burden to carry. If you assume life is guiding you towards something greater, those same moments begin to look entirely different. The event remains the same. Only the state from which you observe it has changed. Neville often spoke about living from the end rather than struggling toward it. Many misunderstand what that means. It is not pretending the outside world no longer exists. It is refusing to let temporary appearances define your permanent identity. Imagine someone building a business. Every morning they check sales before they even finish their coffee. If the numbers are lower than expected, their confidence disappears. If the numbers improve, they finally allow themselves to feel hopeful. Without realizing it, they have handed their emotional life over to changing circumstances. Now imagine another person building that same business. They certainly review the numbers. They make practical decisions, but they never allow today's results to determine who they believe they are becoming. They continue identifying as someone whose work creates value, someone whose success is inevitable because it already exists within their consciousness. Instead of reacting to each temporary result, they remain loyal to the person they have chosen to be. That loyalty becomes surprisingly powerful. The same pattern appears in relationships. Some people spend every day looking for signs that love is fading. A shorter text message, a missed phone call, a different tone of voice. Because they expect distance, they become experts at finding evidence for it. Others carry a quiet assumption that they are appreciated, valued, and deeply loved. That assumption influences how they speak, how they listen, how they respond. The relationship begins reflecting the identity they consistently occupy, not because they forced another person to change, but because consciousness always shapes experience before experience appears visible. This is one of the easiest principles to overlook. We think we are responding to life, yet much of the time, life is responding to us, not to our words, not even to our actions, but to the story we repeatedly accept as true about ourselves. If your inner conversation constantly says, "Things always fall apart," you will unknowingly notice every reason to believe it. If your inner conversation quietly becomes, "Life is always leading me where I need to be," your attention begins discovering opportunities that were invisible before. The world itself has not suddenly transformed. Your awareness has, and awareness changes everything. Perhaps the greatest freedom Neville offered was this. You do not have to wait for life to convince you that you are secure, worthy, successful, or loved. You choose that identity first. You occupy it so consistently that it becomes familiar. Eventually, it becomes natural. Then one day, what once felt impossible begins appearing as ordinary experience. Not because reality finally decided to cooperate, because your consciousness stopped asking for permission to become the person you were always capable of being. Every day offers countless moments where you can either reinforce yesterday's assumptions or begin living from a new one. That choice is far more powerful than it first appears. Because today's assumption quietly becomes tomorrow's experience. And tomorrow's experience eventually becomes the life you call your reality. And if this message resonated with you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, because what you learn next could change your life.